Admiral Locklear, Vice Admiral LeFever, distinguished guests and families. I'm Vice Admiral Barry McCullough, retired. I am the President of the Surface Navy Association, and it's my privilege to welcome you to our Old Salt Ceremony this afternoon. Today we pay tribute to tradition. We all know how much our Navy is steeped in tradition, from our uniforms to our lexicon to 8 o'clock reports to ringing 8 bells. We, Navy men and women, do things in a certain way and have done so for many years, for decades. Some of us are new to the Navy and the sea, and we rely on those who have gone before us to pass down our lore, customs, and tradition. Some of us have been around for a long time, and in the Navy we have an expression for an experienced and knowledgeable mariner. We call them Old Salts. It is the Old Salts who have made it possible for our tradition to be kept alive. The Old Salt Award is given to the longest serving surface warfare officer on continuous active duty. Seniority is determined by the qualification date as a surface warfare officer. The Old Salt Award originated in 1988 when the Surface Navy Association wanted to honor the most senior surface warfare officer and, more importantly, the ideals of the surface warfare community, the core values of our Navy, and the tradition of the surface warrior. The honor is accompanied by a bronze statue, here dressed in aloha attire in honor of Admiral Locklear. A bronze statue depicting a World War II naval officer on the pitching deck of his ship. It is cast from metal salvaged from historic naval ships, most notably the battleship Maine. Inscribed on the trophy's base are the words of Admiral Arleigh Burke, and I quote, "Keeper of the seas," and I quote, "dedicated to service." A miniature replica of the statue is presented to each Old Salt as he retires. And I picked this little guy up to see how much he weighed before I gave it to Mike. And I'm glad I tested it because I thought it was light. It's not. Since 1998, there have been 17 recipients of the Old Salt Award since the first, Admiral Lee Baggett, who is now deceased. 2 of our Navy's former Old Salts are here with us today, and I would like them to stand as I recognize them. Rear Admiral Dennis R. Conley was the Old Salt from January 1999 to March 1999. Denny. And Vice Admiral Terry Blake was the Old Salt from September 2012 to December 2012. Terry. And Terry's my classmate from the Naval Academy, and I was glad he got to be the Old Salt. That means he's older than I am. The custodian passes those values and ideals on to the next Old Salt upon his or her retirement, and that's what we are doing today. The current Old Salt is Vice Admiral Mike LeFever, who has been the Old Salt since December 2012. Admiral LeFever qualified as a surface warfare officer 26 May 1978 while serving as the ASW officer aboard USS Truett FF 1095. And we're glad his wife Patty could join us today. Patty, welcome. And after conducting an exhaustive examination of service records, it has been determined that pending the retirement of the Old Salt, the next most senior surface warrior, and therefore the next Old Salt, will be the Commander, U.S. Pacific Command, Admiral Sam Locklear, who earned his Surface Warfare Officer qualification 8 June 1979 while serving as the main propulsion assistant on USS William V. Pratt, DDG 44. Sam, thanks for being here with us today. It's an honor. Please join me in honoring the Old Salt, Vice Admiral Mike LeFever, United States Navy. Mike.
Thanks. It's truly a great honor, and I appreciate as Terry and I passed it over at the SNA banquet about a year and a half ago, and now today. We were laughing because when the Old Salt was presented to me, the idea was, well, he'll be displayed primarily outside his office. We're not sure where that's going to be in Tyson's Corner, and we're not sure who's even going to see it. So as you can tell from the collage, that many people in the counterterrorism community and the national intelligence community had an opportunity to see it, and they enjoyed the moods that was during the different seasons of the statue. But it truly is a SWO, following orders, had his assignment now, working in counterterrorism for the last 18 months. He learned about the president's shift to the Pacific, and so he is very delighted that he's now going to join Admiral Locklear out in the Pacific Fleet. As you can see, this was, for all those who are in Northern Virginia, a very bitter cold winter, and so he is particularly excited about going to Hawaii and couldn't wait to get set up for it. So it's been a great honor to be the Old Salt in a tremendous tradition. And now, Admiral, thank you so much. You are now the new Old Salt, sir.
Well, thanks, Mike and Patty. Congratulations to you. I mean, it's these things are always a bitter and bittersweet, I guess. Bitter because we continually lose one great leader after another. I guess lose is the wrong word. We transition one great leader after another, and the SWO community, as many of you sit in this audience are representative of, continue to produce really superb leaders that have I would say, and of course I'm biased on this, but I think we bring probably the most significant global perspective just because of what we do and how we do it. I just got through with the SecDef dealing with our planning efforts in the Pacific, but when you tell people that 2/3 of the world's water, the PACOM AOR is 52% of the world, and 83% of that's water. It's got the Pacific Ocean, which is the largest thing in the world. You can take every land mass in the world and put them together and stick it in the Pacific Ocean and still have room for another North America and African continent. And so in a globalized economy, what SWOs do and what SWOs do every day is increasingly important to our security, and I'm really kind of at awe to be here. I never thought I'd make it to be the Old Salt. I guess it's better than dying one day short of being the Old Salt. But I can assure you that I'll take the time-honored statue with me to Hawaii and display it proudly there at PACOM headquarters, and then look forward to the time when I can transition it to another great surface warrior. All of us have fond memories of our surface warfare qualification. But I tell you, I of all the things I've ever done in the Navy, and like all of you, that's a lot. It was probably one of the things I remember, just becoming an officer of the deck and having the empowerment of having a 7,000 or 8,000 ton ship as a young 22, 23-year-old under your command, under your control on those mid-watches, and then progressing through your qualifications so you really felt kind of like you could fight this thing if you had to. And then growing to the point where you look at the old man or the XO and go, I can do it equally as well or better than that person can. And I think those are all the hallmarks of what the SWO qualification really means and why it's so special, and I'm glad we continue to honor it. I will take care of it, I promise you. Thank you.
Mike, if you'd join me at the podium, please. It's my honor and privilege to present you with this memorabilia for your service as the Old Salt. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
This concludes our ceremony. I salute all of you here today, especially those of you beginning your naval careers. One of our colleagues, Vice Admiral Rod Rempt, never thought he would be the Old Salt, but maybe one of you will be one day standing here at this podium and receive the Old Salt Award. Thanks a lot for coming. There's some refreshments, and please join us. Gentlemen.
Thanks.